All right, what's up, you guys? So of recent, Alex Golesh has inquired of the mind and kind of a way of Svengali, kind of the guidance, from Gus Malzahn. And what I find interesting in this dynamic is, it's a myriad of things. But the main thing and what I'm seeing with Alex Golesh, and everything, and how he's coming about this cultivation process, as I said many times before with Auburn, they have to go through a growth process, something that, requires kind of time, work. But what Alex Golesh is doing, he's creating a catalyst with guys like Gus Malzahn, as I noted earlier, past, present, and future Auburn players, through the guys he's recruiting and the guys he's bringing on from the past of Auburn, to kind of go in this shared workers process, kind of going in this shared kind of effort, and obviously the source that he has with Auburn as an organization, which is very huge, because when it comes to cultivation, when it comes to head coaches coming into a program, they're normally utilizing their resources, their staff, obviously the organization and the team they're joining, but it's mainly singular. The thing with Alex Golesh is he's using a plural kind of way of kind of going about this by having, the past, players like Cam Newton, Bo Jackson, Carnell Williams, all these past greats that has been through the thick and thin with Auburn, through the 3-9 season with Auburn, through the 6-6, through the 7-5, through the undefeated seasons with Auburn, to kind of grow a mindset in these staff, in these players, and within Alex Golesh himself, to have them understand what the process has to go. Obviously, the approach in which you have to be with Auburn, because at the end of the day, as Alex Golesh is seeing, Auburn is bigger than him. A lot of these teams, a lot of these organizations, what they tend to do, they tend to make these head coaches that they bring on try to be the savior, like the Messiah, like Jesus Christ of some form, try to drag the organization, the teams out the darkness, out kind of, poverty, to try to lead a team out. And the thing is, what you're not doing, even if maybe the terrain, like with the SEC, Alex Golesh has an idea what the SEC is, given his time with Tennessee. He knows what the SEC brings, but the culture, the team he's joining, most coaches don't know a thing about the team they're joining. So the thing is, it kind of leads into this, you have to kind of, win the fans over, kind of win the players over, and win kind of the embodiment of what that team is over time. But what Alex Golesh is doing, he's kind of having a catalyst and kind of bringing all these guys, all these resources all together collectively, from the guys he's bringing in, with guys like Byron Brown, Keyshawn Singleton, Chase Nimrod, the list goes on with the guys he brought, and everything, to the guys that was with Auburn of recent, and everything, that's played under Auburn from the past few seasons under this turmoil with Hugh Freeze and Byron Harsin or whatever, and everything. So obviously the players he brought on, as I said earlier, from past players that's played with Auburn, with Cam Newton and all these guys, to kind of basically, have this meeting, have this, okay, we're going to reason this out. We're going to solve this equation out to bring Auburn success. This is where I see that Alex Golesh is very brilliant in. And the second thing that I want to bring up as a point, when we take kind of the lens off and kind of take a step back from Alex Golesh, you're looking at Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn of recent has had the most success, as a coach, with Auburn of recent. Obviously, the list goes on with successful Auburn head coaches like with Terry Bowden, Ralph Jordan, if I can remember, Mike Donahue, Terry Bowden, like the list goes on. You can even throw Tommy Tuberville, even with all the allegations and all this stuff that you can kind of just take out the hat with all these guys that I can list, whatever they've done in their careers with Auburn in 10 years. But Gus Malzahn of recent, what he was able to do with Auburn, even though like a lot of us Auburn fans would try to look at Gus Malzahn and try to say, you didn't basically finish, because that's really what was the thing with Gus Malzahn. He can have great starts, but not great finishes. And if it is a great finish, there's always disappointment. Like Auburn fell short against Florida State, could not finish the 2017 season, and then with a loaded cast of characters in 2019, couldn't finish the deal, and everything. Even though that's a topic for another day with LSU. I'm not going to list what I'm going to say with that. People going to call me a 10 for a hat where if I say what I'm going to say with that. But the thing is, You know, Gus Malzahn was Auburn's most consistent coach and brought forth a brand and identity with the likes of Brian Harsin and Hugh Freeze after him that didn't, you know, and let Auburn kind of in a, you know, this weeded out mess and kind of more in turmoil for the future. But like I said, you know, this is kind of a brilliant move with Alex Golesh, you know, like a move on the chessboard that's setting up several array of moves later that's going to lead to a winning move, to a checkmating threat. So, like I said, you know, with Alex Golesh, you know, kind of what he's doing, inquiring the mind of Gus Malzahn, inquiring the mind of Auburn, you know, the brand, the players, all the things that make Auburn Auburn, you know, this is grand, this is brilliant, you know. But I kind of said my piece on this, guys. You know, God blessings to you all, and War Eagle.